Alright guys, so today I wanted to celebrate one of my YouTube milestones with you guys, and today I've reached 2,000 subscribers on my channel, and let me tell you, I couldn't have done it without you. Thanks for watching and thanks for subscribing. It's pretty amazing. I've never thought that I'd get to 2,000 subscribers, and when I first got to 1,000, and YouTube kind of sent me an email that said, congratulations on 1,000. That was my first step to get monetized. And then in that same email, YouTube said, well, your next milestone is 10,000. And I didn't think there was any way I could reach 10,000. And 2,000 is a little bit closer to 10. But honestly, I didn't think I'd get to 2,000 in a long time. And it's went pretty quick. It's only been a few months since I hit 1,000. So I just want to thank you guys. And today is Black Friday 2018. And you know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking of heading to the reptile store again. So let's see what we can find at the reptile store. I'm hoping I can find something unique, something interesting, and something on a pretty good discount. So I'm going to take you guys along for the ride and see what we can find. Alright guys, so take a look at this. I went to the reptile store and I actually bought a critter, but I came home and when I was driving up the mountains, I saw that the power was out on everything, all the way up the mountain. I got home and this is what I have. I have a bunch of lamps. Let me show you my setup that I kind of have for emergency purposes. So that generator outside runs just about everything. I have a little lamp in here. The only thing it can't run, I found out, is we have a 1,500 watt heater that heats this reptile room, and the generator just can't keep up. But luckily I have several hundred rats in my rack, and between these rats and mice, they put off a lot of body heat, believe it or not, and they heat this warm. It is toasty warm in here. And the tree frog we had upstairs, it was really cold. It was in the 60s, and we brought it down here in the reptile room, and we plugged it all in. We have cords and power strips and everything running everywhere, running everything. And luckily, we don't have the humidity on here. We left it upstairs, but we do have the heat lamp and the heat controller for our little red-eyed green tree frog. So Lucy's enclosure, it was actually down to 67 degrees. It was really cold, and it's warming up now. So I think she's doing a little better. She definitely was chilly, and now I definitely feel some heat coming out of here. But it was too cold for the retic, and luckily we have emergency power, we have extension cords, we have power strips, and the alarm's going off on this because it's still below the set point. I actually moved the set point number 1 up to 92, and it's slowly getting there. I think it'll get there eventually with this generator running. Okay, so here's our setup. We are in the mad dash trying to get everything set up, and believe it or not, that generator runs these LED lights. We tried to run this halogen light, and it was way too much for the and I think this fish tank, we kind of blew one of the circuits on one of the power strips downstairs, but I disconnected the heater from the rodent room, and this fish tank should be okay on the same generator. I think it's a 5,500 watt generator, so we should be able to run pretty much everything. So here's the setup we have in the kitchen. We're burning some candles. We're burning some, these are like kind of like kerosene. They use lamp oil in these lamps, and I have a bunch of them. I'm not sure how long we're going to run them. They produce carbon dioxide, so you definitely don't want to run them too long, and if you do, you want to crack a window, that's for sure. But they do put off heat and light. Alright guys, now that we have power and heat and we have our emergency plan in action, let me show you what I bought at the reptile store. And believe it or not, it's not a snake, it's not a frog. It just happens to be a spider. We bought a big spider, and believe it or not, it's a $200 spider. And I actually used to have one of these spiders. It's beautiful. It's a Brazilian giant white knee, and this is a huge female. Females get a little bit bigger than the male. and they like humidity, they like it warm. It's definitely warm in this snake room. I probably won't keep this lamp in here that long because definitely don't want the carbon dioxide building up. But I'm going to put him in a little 10-gallon enclosure, and he's going to be in our bedroom. And this guy is really, really aggressive. The guy was pulling it out, and he was like, "Do not handle that. Do not touch it." He was biting at the tongs, but these are wonderful, beautiful spiders, and I'm really looking forward to setting them up. All right, so the power finally came back on, and it seems like every time we have a power outage, we start up the generator, lay out all the cords and power strips, hook everything up. And then, of course, as soon as we have it all set up, the power comes back on. So the power outage is behind us. And take a look at what I have going on here. I set up a little aquarium for my tarantula. And the setup is really dependent on the type of tarantula. I've actually had one of these before. And the thing I really like about the Brazilian white knee is it's a tarantula that stays out in the open. It doesn't tend to hide, and a lot of your tarantulas will actually hide a lot, and that's not really what I want in a tarantula. Some of them will bury into a hole, and they won't come out. So this girl here, I know they can be really, really quick, so trying to get her out of this cup without getting bit may be quite a challenge. And let's see if we can gently persuade her out. And if they get irritated, they have these hairs on the back of their legs that they kind of flick at you, and they're really irritating hairs. And let's see if I can tease her. Oh, well, we got a bunch of coconut husk substrate on them. That's kind of weird. I'm amazed they actually put that in the container. No, I'm not quite sure what to do. You almost need to blow it off. You can't really. I'm sure it'll come off eventually. But what I did is I took Eco Earth and I put it on the bottom, and I moistened it first, soaked it really good, then squeezed it out as good as I can, and then packed it down. And I just put one hide, and I want to hide where I can actually see into the hide and actually see the tarantula at all times. So the other thing I like about the Brazilian white knee is it doesn't climb the glass. And a lot of your arboreals will climb up the side and out of the glass, and especially with this tank right here, it has a lid that slides on this way. So if I had a spider that was upside down on the glass and I tried to open it, especially if it was on the front here, you really couldn't even open it with an arboreal. You'd almost need a different type of enclosure. So I like that it doesn't climb, it doesn't web, which is another thing that I really like. It stays out in the open, and it's just a really neat, it has a really good appetite. And the other thing I did with this tarantula is I put a heat mat on the bottom, and I put a little jump start controller with the probe directly on the heat mat. So I'll be able to put it upstairs. We'll probably put it in our bedroom. And it doesn't really matter if the bedroom gets too cold, because the heat mat and the heat controller will keep it the right temperature. So I'm just going to play around, see if I can get them to move, maybe get some of that coconut husk off of them, and just kind of see the general temperament of the spider, and see what kind of a mood she is in. So apparently she shed, and there was an expert there at the reptile store that she's getting a little defensive now, that actually was able to correctly figure out the gender of this spider. And you can tell by the shed, by how many scales are on certain parts of the spider, and you can tell if it's a male or a female. I've read articles about it, but I'm not an expert at it. And apparently there was an expert in the store that was able to tell that this was a female. Okay, so thanks for coming along on that wild ride on our Black Friday 2018, and I'll definitely be doing another update on this spider, maybe some feeding. You'll get some feeding videos in there, and maybe more of a general background of where they come from, the scientific name, and more info on the spider. So thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.